Hey guys, trying something a little bit different now. I thought I might try doing some Pokemon challenges. Instead of just doing Pokemon Let's Plays and just watch me play the main game, which I know some of you do enjoy, I thought, why not give myself some kind of challenge? And some of you may remember when I attempted to do a no Poké Center run of Pokemon Crystal, then basically wussed out and said, oh no, I'll just use one in every town, which is basically using all of them. And that's not the same and didn't really make the game any harder, so you're just watching me play Pokemon Crystal. Yeah, so we're gonna try an actual challenge from now on. Or challenge is, hopefully, if this goes over well. The point is that I'm going to attempt something actually serious for once. I know, me being serious, that never happens. So, I thought I'd start us off with a bit of a... well, I wouldn't say this particular challenge is going to be that difficult. It will get difficult, but it does involve my favorite Pokemon ever, so I thought some of you would appreciate this kind of deal. Effectively, I'm doing a only Flareon run of Pokemon Red. To begin with, I did establish some ground rules to make this challenge clear, and so that I don't, seem like I'm cheating. So, let's be clear about this. To begin with, I'm only using Flareon in battle. Any other Pokemon that I do catch will only be used for HMs, because Flareon can't learn every HM in the game. And even if he did, he doesn't, that would not make him very good, and make this way harder than it had to be. So, though admittedly a Flareon the new Surf would be great, but would make this too easy. You see what I mean? That's not happening. So, Flareon's the only one I will ever use in battle. The only others I will catch are specifically for HMs and for no other reason. Following that, no glitches or exploits within the game, so no missing, no tricks, no nothing like that, just playing the main game with just Flareon. In addition, no items in battle. This is a big one for me, because anyone who's actually watched me play Pokemon knows that I just cannot stop feeding my Pokemon just all the medication. That's just 90% of what I do. And for this particular run, I decided, you know what? That's going to make this way easier than it should be, and I want this actually to be legitimately challenging. And since this isn't the hardest thing in the world to do from the get-go, I thought, yeah, no items in battle. So, with that being said, moving forward. Now, some of you may be wondering how I'm going to accomplish having Flareon only in my party. Well, I will be using not a cheat system, but a randomizer to simply replace Charmander with Flareon in one of the starters. That's the only alteration to the game I'm making, specifically for the challenge, and again for no other reason. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to get Flareon until like halfway through the game, and it'd be kind of meaningless by that point, so yeah. So to start things off, everything went pretty uneventful. There's literally nothing I can say. I just burned my way through the starting Pokemon, and it really helped that early on you only really run into bug catchers, which Flareon is very strong against. It helps that since Flareon is an evolved Pokemon, that early game, I will actually have a little bit more of an advantage than I otherwise would with a starting Pokemon. Now that's going to change later on, but for the get-go, I mean, I'm doing nothing against bug Pokemon. He starts with Ember, so yeah, Nemo's about to just roast him some caterpillars up in here. I thought I might have an issue with Brock once I got to him. This proved to be inaccurate, as Brock had the problem of, again, not having an actual evolved Pokemon. In addition, he did not really play his advantage because he never really used a rock move against me. He used Tackle and Bide, and sometimes Defense Curl. I did lose to him once, but when I wandered off and grinded a little bit for like 1 or 2 levels, I was able to face his Onix one-on-one purely because Bide is such an exploitable move. He literally sits there waiting for you to attack him. So I didn't. I just hit him with Sand Attack to lower his accuracy, and then I just kept hitting him. I also noticed that despite being not very effective, Ember does do a decent amount of damage against both Onix and Geodude at this point. I am guessing this is because of the evolution-boosted stats that I'm working with. Now, after fighting my way through the trainers on the way to Mount Moon, I got to Mount Moon and actually wound up getting knocked out in that cave. It really had nothing to do with anything I did wrong. It was more that I had no healing items with me that I could use outside of battle, and Nemo just wore down, and I managed to get killed, so I wound up having to walk through Mount Moon a second time. I did get through on my second time, so Cerulean City I was more concerned about, because, again, I'm dealing with another type advantage situation, and the little itsy-bitsy problem that Misty is the first gym leader that actually throws an evolved Pokemon at me, namely Starmie. I attempted Misty at first just to see how well it would go, and it didn't really go well. I was able to get through Star U just fine, but once I got to Star Me, oh my god, Bubble Beam. Oh no. No. So I decided that it was a really much better idea to go to the Nugget Challenge and go to Bill's place before I attempted that again. Once I got through there, again without much of an issue, I went back to Cerulean Gym, and then I was able to take Misty down without much of a problem. Wandering my way down to Lieutenant Surge's place, I decided that I was going to catch an Oddish because I knew I needed Cut up here to get to the next gym. And then, I completely forgot where to actually get Cut, even though I just got the SS ticket and wandered into Digless Cave for no reason. So that was a weird adventure that was ultimately meaningless. Once I got on SSN, everything was fine. I fought my rival. He really does not stand a chance against me at this point, although his Wartortle is getting a little more intimidating. If it used something besides Bubble, I might have been worried. But it didn't. So, yeah, level advantage. And once I got past this stupid, I really, just the... Does anyone like these? Like... Once I got past the trash cans... No, seriously, Lieutenant Surge makes everyone who wants to challenge him dig through literal trash. Dude never got out of that drill sergeant phase. Fighting Lieutenant Surge, I was slightly concerned that I might wind up paralyzed, which would really throw things off. Not necessarily against anything other than his Raichu, which actually put up a little bit of a fight, although it only ever used Thunder Shock on me. So, didn't really mean much in the long run, and I wound up never getting paralyzed, so that was fine. After that, I was able to wander up back to Cerulean, through the tree, and once I reached the rock tunnel, it dawned on me, oh, I never got Flash. Oh no. Also, I didn't actually have a Pokemon that could learn Flash, which is relevant. No, as it turns out, Flareon is not one of those Pokemon, and even if he was, and he isn't, I would not want to waste a slot with Flash, a completely useless move. So I decided to just save time and the heck with it, and wander through the rock tunnel without Flash. This isn't impossible, and the game is nice in that it will show you where the ladders are, so it's not the worst thing in the world, because the only real problem is you'll never see when you're about to run into a trainer. But since I'm trying to run into most of the trainers anyway, you know, to get more XP, because I am rolling with only one Pokemon for this challenge, that isn't really a big deal. What was a big deal was all the hikers that decided it was a really neat idea to have all their Pokemon use self-destruct right in Nemo's face. These poor Geodudes and Gravelers were repeatedly sacrificed to murder the crap out of my poor Flareon. I only used one regular potion on him because it was all I had, and honestly, I don't think that helped anything, and then I whited out again. Because of course I did, because the entire cave decided it was a really good idea to just blow up in my face. After dusting myself off, I went back into the cave to try to walk through again. This time I did make it, but barely. To begin with, that same trainer decided it was a good idea to have his same Graveler explode in my face again. Because that's necessary. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. I really needed that today. Didn't help that apparently there's like a gajillion trainers right before the exit. I barely made it out of there, but I did. Good job, Nemo. I'm proud of you. I walked through Lavender Town, though there wasn't much to do here at this point, since I had to go to Celadon first. So I hung a left and headed over there while finding a few trainers on the way to try to get some experience. This was, of course, after hitting at the Pokemon Center in Lavender Town. Because, yeah, that was needed. I can assure you of that. After going to Celadon, I decided to just hit at the local gym. As far as how that went... Hello, other trainers! I now welcome you to the world of fire! Everything! So that wasn't really a problem. I would say it went well. At least for me. Maybe not for them. But for me it was fine. I made my way into the mall to try to get the stupid thirsty guard his stupid thirsty water, so he's not thirsty anymore, so I can actually walk to Saffron City later. Then I decided it was a really good idea to kick Team Rocket out of the game corner. Giovanni did not put up much of a fight at this point. Nemo's pretty over-leveled for him, and even though I was at a bit of a type disadvantage, he didn't really use any ground moves on me, so I didn't really have much of a problem. It was also about this point that it dawned on me that, you know, Flareon's move list and the way he gets moves in Gen 1 is ridiculous. So follow me on this. The first move that a Flareon will get, you know, depending on how many moves it started with, is at level 37, right? Okay, that sounds reasonable, a little high, but it's okay. You know, it's whatever. It's probably a great move. It's Tail Whip. It's Tail Whip. Flareon, I repeat, Flareon gets Tail Whip at level 37. What? What? No, that's not. What? That. I don't. I have so many questions right now. You know, and it gets worse. Guess what Flareon learns level 40? Guess, please. I want you to guess. You know, and I'll give you a hint. It's a slightly more useful move. Okay? It's Bite. Bite. He learns Bite at level 40. You know, Bite's a decent move, but I wouldn't really call it level 40 territory over here. And at level 42, he learns another move. Leer. Leer. Flareon, in between the levels 35 and 45, learn two moves that you start with, depending on the starter you choose in the game. Are you kidding me? Why would you ever do that? I did learn Fire Spin at level 44, and that's slightly more useful. Not necessarily because it's all that powerful. It's only got a power of 15, which is pretty gross, but it does lock the opponent so they can't attack you because it's Gen 1 and it hates people. So that is slightly more useful, you know, in terms of a tactical play, so I did have him learn that, but everything else around here is ridiculous. After beating Team Rocket in the game corner and getting the Sylph Scope, I did head over to Pokemon Tower to walk up and save Mr. Fuji. Now, this was rough because at this point in the game, Flareon only has one move that he can use against Ghosts, because every other move is normal type. This went okay. I had a couple issues dealing with it, mostly involving Nemo repeatedly choosing to get confused and then smacking himself in the face. Which you really don't need to do. I understand you're confused, but like, hit yourself? I don't know why you would ever do that. Also, question. Why do some of the Golbats that the Rocket Grunts seem to have know both Confuse Ray and Supersonic? Now, I'm not miffed that the AI chooses to use both in tandem, because the AI in Gen 1 is not exactly the most intelligent AI in the universe, but what I want to know is why the programmers gave these enemies two moves that do the exact same thing, and absolutely do not stack on each other. Like, why would you... What? What? I don't understand. So I saved Mr. Fuji, gives me the Poke Flute, and I opt not to go wake up the Snorlax just yet, because I do have to go to Saffron to A, gym battle Sabrina, B, I have to kick Team Rocket out of Sylph Tower. Now, I always seem to get lost in Sylph Tower. I don't know why that is. I've been through it so many times. I've been playing this game since I was, you know, since it first came out, since I was, you know, like 6. And yet, somehow I always wind up in this same position of, where the hell do I go? I have forgotten. It has eluded me. The thoughts, they have eluded me. Fortunately, while I was wandering, I was able to humor myself at least a little bit while I was on stream. Somewhere there's a field and a river. You can let your soul run free. Someday let me be the giver. Let me bring you peace. After fighting my way through some of the Rocket Grunts and getting annoyed. Also, did you know there was a juggler who works for Team Rocket? I never knew that. He's not really that hard. I was just more confused. Like he's working for Team Rocket, but he's not a Rocket Grunt. He's the juggler. Ooh. He juggles. I guess he's the court jester for Giovanni. I don't know. I managed to beat my rival, and this did not go well at all. It would have been fine. Everything would have been fine, except for a teensy-weensy little itty-bitty problem that PIDGEOT decided it was a really neat idea to hit me in the face with a sand attack. And oh my god, did that one move not just screw me over for the rest of the time. I would have been just okay. But suddenly, now that my accuracy is lowered, Nemo decides he can't hit anything. Ever. At all. Not in any way. I missed so many times in this first round, it's not even funny. I managed to bull rush it all the way to Blastoise, but by the time I got there, I was already so low that dealing with that kind of type disadvantage, even though all Blastoise chose to do was withdraw and occasionally water gun, it didn't matter. The water gun was enough. And it didn't help that when I did hit, the withdrawal made it so I didn't do any damage, and then I was just missing the rest of the time, so yeah, that was neat. I managed to wander myself back after whiting out, and I did beat him the second time, and then go on to fight Giovanni, who put up a bit more of a fight, but not nearly as bad as getting that one sand attack in my face. It was just one sand attack! Just one! And it ruined everything! I hate that! After all that nonsense was over, I headed over to Sabrina's and forgot the teleport pattern, because of course I did. To be fair, Sabrina herself, not a problem. I pretty much swept her entire team, so that was pretty neat. Then I went down towards Koga's gym, took care of him. He was also not much of an issue at all. And while I was here, I obviously had to get the HMs for both Strength and Surf. I just grabbed the free Lapras while I was in Silphco, and while I was in the Safari Zone, I caught a Nidorino, who I threw a Moonstone at to turn into Nidoking, because apparently Nidorino can't learn Strength, but Nidoking can. So, yeah, that was easy. And there we go. HMs all taken care of. By the way, worth mentioning, if you hadn't noticed, I am naming all my HM slaves after rock stars. Guess who they are? You get a gold star. A gold rock star! I surfed to the Seafoam Islands because I'm an idiot, and then proceeded to get lost in here because I'm an idiot. Before I found the exit, I found Articuno, who I threw a Master Ball at because I needed something that flew. Yes, I used Articuno as my HM slave because it was way easier than anything else. It was just there. It was very convenient for me, and I thought it was funny. Laugh. Haha. I'm hilarious. Anyway, I reached Cinnabar Island, and I got lost in the mansion. Because I just can't stop. I feel like when I was a kid, I remembered all this so much more clearly. And now that I'm old, I'm just like, what am I doing? Where's the switch? Why are there so many random encounters? Playing was easy. I mean, nobody had a type advantage here, so yeah, it was no problem. And then I went to Giovanni for the Earth Badge, and that was also easy. So yeah, hooray! Easy! The Elite Four, I feel like, won't be the same way. I also fought my rival. It was close, but I managed to pull through. His Blastoise is getting a little dangerous, which is quite alarming. Oddly, I had less problems getting through Victory Road than any other cave I've had the entire time, which I think is hilarious. I don't know if Victory Road is just more clear-cut than anything else, or I don't know. I hate strength puzzles, but at least I knew what to do. So before I decided to use the rare candies I've been stockpiling, I wanted to see just how low of a level I could get away with facing the Elite Four with Nemo. And, the answer is not now, because Lorelei just destroyed me. So I used a bunch of rare candies, and then I got through Lorelei, but only because of a strategy that I had been waiting for, which is Fire Spin. Now, as I mentioned, Fire Spin is a tactical move, and especially in Gen 1, because it locks your opponent down. It's like Rap in that respect, where they can't move while it's going on. So as long as you're faster than the opponent, and Fire Spin doesn't miss, which it can, a lot, you can effectively destroy them without actually moving. Now, this worked pretty well, mostly because I wasn't afraid of anything but Lorelei's Lapras, because her Lapras is both very tanky, and I'm pretty sure knows Hydro Pump. And I am afraid, deathly afraid, of Hydro Pump. So I was able to Fire Spin her into oblivion. After that I went to Bruno and completely swept him. There was just no challenge here. I just flamethrowed him down. There was no way he could do anything. Agatha proved a bit more of a pain because I couldn't one-hit KO basically anything she had, particularly her Gengars, and that was a problem because her Gengars hit me pretty hard. It was close, but I was able to get through, but she had me pretty scared. Spooky Ghost Trainer! Spooky ghost try. Ooh! Then I got to Lance. I was also pretty concerned about Lance because dragons in Gen 1 are kind of jerks. And oh my god, I was not wrong. This was a disaster. I could not do anything. Even my fire spin strategy only worked half the time, and when it didn't, I was screwed. Part of the problem is that Lance leads with a Gyarados, and this Gyarados loves to use Hydro Pump, so I could not do fire spin on him. There was no question, so I had to get through him without missing, which is difficult, because fire spin's accuracy is not that good. The 2 Dragonairs he had with him after that weren't too bad, so long as it didn't crit me, which they did, often enough to annoy me. That was neat. And then I got to his Aerodactyl. Oh no. All of a sudden, my strategy went out the window, because as it turns out, this Aerodactyl, guess what? Faster than Nemo. I couldn't fire spin him. It was not going to work. And this Aerodactyl also hits like a truck. I couldn't do anything. There was nothing I could play. There was nothing I could do. And eventually, I sucked it up and went back to grind. And then walked all the way back through all the other Elite Four members to fight Lance again. And I still can't beat him. Oh, I spent a half an hour just ramming my head into this Lance wall. And just every time I would get to the Aerodactyl, I would just scream. I managed to get through it, finally, because Flamethrower is just that strong, even not being very effective. But then I had to deal with his Dragonite. And this Dragonite, as expected, gave more problems than Aerodactyl ever could. It likes Hyper Beam. That hurts. I don't like that. I don't like dealing with that. That's a lot of damage that I didn't need right now. And it doesn't help that by the time I get the Dragonite, I pretty much have forced to have taken a hit. There's no way around that, unless I was really lucky, and I can assure you I was never that lucky. Eventually I determined, fortunately, I was faster than Dragonite. Unfortunately, Fire Spin doesn't do all that much damage, and Lance has Hyper Potions. So I had to get him down to a point where he was close enough to death where Lance wouldn't use a Hyper Potion, and I could get a hit with Flamethrower enough to take him down. Flamethrower does about 1/3 of Dragonite's health bar, which isn't bad, but the idea was that I had to get him down that far without getting hit myself, because I really couldn't afford to get hit by this thing. So I finally got him to a position where he's close enough, and I throw that Flamethrower out there, and I expect victory, and then... Wake me up inside. Wake up. You are kidding me. You are kidding me. That is... No! No! Why? Why do you hate me? Why does everything hate me? So after a bunch of more trials and error, because I kept getting unlucky with Fire Spin again, and Gyarados' Hydro Pump does half my HP, so if I get hit by it, I basically have to restart the battle every single time. Eventually, I get down to fight Dragonite again, and I do the same thing again. I get him down low enough where I think Flamethrower is gonna work, and... Wake me up inside. Wake me up. How? I cannot deal with this. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I've done something stupid here. But speaking of stupid, the AI decided it was going to give me the win. Because, lo and behold, despite the fact that he could have killed me with any attacking move, he chose to spam both Agility and Barrier. Now, at first I was worried about Agility, because all of a sudden, Dragonite moved first. But, you know, that's great. That you can move first now, but if all you're gonna do is Agility again and Barrier, it's kind of irrelevant. And that's exactly what he chose to do. And I won! I had no business winning that. I admit this. But Generation 1 AI just needs to go back to school. Like the AI school, where they teach computers how to not be completely stupid. After that mess, it was on to my rival, who I was worried about, but I did manage to pull through in one try. My power points were pretty low by this point, so spamming Fire Spin was not really an option unless I absolutely had to, and by absolutely had to, I mean only on Blastoise and nothing else. Fortunately, I was able to power through everything else pretty much without too many issues, although taking that hit from Alakazam was really unnecessary, and being this low against Blastoise was also really unnecessary. But fortunately, my rival chose to use Withdraw, like an idiot, And I was able to fire spin him low enough where I could actually use my flamethrower effectively, and I won. I did it. I did it. Me and Nemo, solo, are in the Hall of Fame, baby. Oh yeah. Dun da 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 da. So as a closure, thank you so much for watching, everybody. As I said, this is kind of a new thing I might be doing occasionally. I don't know how often. It depends how, well received this is gonna be. That being said, I do want to encourage you to follow my Twitter. Click any link down there in the description that I posted. I have plenty of links down there that you might find interesting. And also, I want to give a very special shout out to a guy by the name of Madrybread. I think I'm saying it right. He's told everyone how to say it in one of his videos recently, and, I'm bad at pronouncing things. I forget everything, and I hope I'm not wrong, but in any event, he's kind of the one who influenced me to do this because his new videos with these kind of challenges have taken off quite well, and he's very good at it, so I posted a link to his channel down in the description as well. Also, fun fact, apparently, he was a fan of me back in the day. Yeah, that makes me feel good. I feel good about myself. So yeah. Anyway, till next time, guys. This is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.